Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the playing of the national anthem of Brazil, followed by the national anthem of Portugal.
Wasn't hearing myself. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome in here to match day 2 here of the Nike International Friendlies at the Premier Sports Campus, Lakewood Ranch, in association with the Winter Showcase for the U.S. Soccer Development Academy. Mike Pepper alongside Mark Serber. And we are getting started today with Brazil and Portugal, which is match number 3. A little bit later today, we'll see the United States and Turkey to do this. And, of course, Brazil coming off the only victory in the first day. Looking to add on to that, Portugal, by virtue of the 1-1 draw with the United States, really needing the result. Cannot let Brazil win if they have any desire to win this tournament. But in saying that, Mark, I think that, it's a matchup here that no one really stood apart. We saw a total of 3 goals scored on match day 1. This is still anyone's Nike International Friendlies.
And for Brazil, I think it's going to be a very different game today because Turkey did impress them until the last 5 minutes of the game. So we haven't seen Brazil play a team like Portugal that likes to press high and try and win the ball as close to goal as possible. So it'll be interesting to see how they handle that. Portugal, meanwhile, well, they made 7 changes, so it could be different to the side we saw against the USA, but their ability to create off the dribble and find that final pass is excellent, and it's going to be a much tougher test for the Brazilians Brazilian defense today.
And what you're saying there a little bit, of the 3 goals scored on match day 1, really only one was out of the run of play. 2 of them, the United States against Portugal, as well as Brazil's against Turkey, were both really defensive miscues that allowed those. Portugal's was a nice setup that ended up getting the equalizer about 9 minutes left.
Yeah, I think Portugal is the most dangerous team offensively that we've seen, but Brazil can break you down as well, and it'll be interesting to see as Portugal does press higher and will be a lot more stretched than Turkey on the defensive end. What can Brazil do in those spaces that they didn't have on match day 1? What I do know, and obviously it being a U17 tournament 2 years ago, these two teams played to a 3-3 draw, and even though it's 22 different players out there for this game, I really hope we see more of the same.
Should be a lot of fun. Brazil is rolling with 9 of the starters that we saw on match day 1. Portugal, meanwhile, only going with 4. I don't know whether the later start, maybe the tighter match, the little bit more running of what we saw, but it is an opportunity for both teams out here. The officials today, Charles Murphy will be your center official. Tyler Wierstek, Cephas Quartzen, and Kevin Broadley are your 2 linesmen and your 4th official, respectively. Brazil is the away team today, so you will not see the traditional yellow, blue on the shirts and socks, the white shorts, and Portugal, the red shirt and shorts along with the green socks. And Portugal will be going from right to left on your screen. And in this doing so, it's south to north, for those who are wondering how the Lakewood Ranch setup is. Charles Murphy, and I'm sure he got some Charlie Murphy references growing up a little bit. Ready to blow his whistle. We are underway here from the Premier Sports Campus at Lakewood Ranch. And Portugal will just test it real quick first early on with Tavares on the end of that header. His left foot cross, though, is a little weak. It will result, though, on the clearance and a throw-in for Portugal, going right at him early on.
And it was Sousa and Tomas who combined for that goal against the USA. It'll be really fun to watch the 2 of them from the start, but Sousa came off the bench to great effect and was a real danger down the left-hand side.
There's Rodrigo Rigu, who's getting a start in the back for Portugal. Sousa, as you mentioned, came on getting the start today, and that was a fantastic effort. And Tomas, it was really one of those striker dream goals, about 6 yards out. You don't have to do anything but direct it on net. Now a long ball into the corner. Sent in, looking for Tomas. Instead, it is corralled by Christian, who is getting the start today in goal for Brazil. Did not start the first one. The only other new starter is along the back in Gabriel Noga, who is on the ball right now. Everyone else got the start for Brazil in day 1.
It'll be interesting to see how much Noga sees of the ball on the offensive end, because he replaces Derek Silva, who started 90% of Brazil's attacks out of the back with his distribution. So I wonder if Noga will play that kind of role this afternoon from his center back position.
They did slightly move over to Santos and Noga in that little area, but both those guys still in that central defense will be interchangeable for the most part, you would think. Inside now to João Daniel, who sends it out. They're going to look for Sousa on the long cross. It's off his chest. He's able to get, he had an arm come up, but he did go down rather easily. And Brazil will try and work out of their own area into their own third by virtue of Diego Rosa, who's moved back into the back. Now it's out to Eduardo, one of the early subs, but he did start the match for Brazil last time. Mention here the weather. It was a very chilly day on match day 1. That's probably an understatement. It's rather cold for those of us who have been down in Florida for a while. Really not even getting it out of the 50s. Today, about 72 degrees and a little overcast skies, and the wind not even an issue. So it should be a fun day for these guys and not worrying about any temperature issues.
I can hear now.
Henry Dos Santos looking upfield for Gabriel Silva. It will go over the line for a throw for Portugal. Taken away there by Diego Rosa. Inside to Fabinho. Fabinho's pass doesn't connect. Sousa, though, will be dispossessed on his side of the half, and Brazil will restart.
Brazil were really the inventors of the modern fullbacks with the likes of Cafu and Roberto Carlos, and Jan Bueno, the number 2 on this near side, as well as Eduardo on the far, did an excellent job in the first game of getting forward. It'll be interesting to see how much they're able to go forward against this Portuguese side.
There is Jan Bueno on the ball now, near sideline. Fabinho under pressure, and Brazil moving it back and forth. Talas Costa and Dos Santos.
Costa's a really good player, getting out of tight spaces with the ball at his feet. Look for him to be one of the main creators against such a high-pressing Portuguese defense.
Diego Rosa, a little behind Renier, but running onto it, and Portugal will just sit it out, and Soares. Strong header by Regu. Charles Murphy letting a lot of play go on now. Nothing real physical, but certainly some touches. We'll see how that affects it. Renier is dispossessed. Renier was the goal scorer for Brazil early on, and a foul will go Brazil's way. It's Tomas. Actually, I take that back. It's Portugal's way. My fault. Sent out wide for Sousa. Off the foot. Good control, but going the opposite way. He'll try and turn, and he's taken down, and we'll get a foul. Free kick for Portugal. This one will be in a dangerous spot near the sideline, but able to get the big bodies into the area. They'll ask Felipe Cruz to come across from his right back position to send this one in the box. Line held just inside the area. Ball sent in towards the 6, and it's on goal actually, and Christian has to go back and take that off a bounce. Not a good ball into the area at all.
I think he was caught between two minds there as to whether to send it in or whether he thought Christian perhaps was cheating too far to his left and thought maybe he could catch him at his near post.
There's a good ball in, but it just misses the head of Gabriel Silva. Portugal recovers, sends it over the far touchline. In for Fabinho, back out to Eduardo. Eduardo on the left foot cross. Only one there is Arujo. Headed back towards the area and a challenge in, but it's now sent up towards midfield by Soares. Giving chase is Tomas. Down is Jan Bueno, saying he got knee in the tailbone.
But there is that high pressure right away. Sousa getting on the back of Jan Bueno, not even allowing him to turn. So it'll be interesting to see how composed Brazil are when they play it around the back. And the other thing that I'm interested to see is when they were playing against the 4-1-4-1 of Turkey, it's very easy to starve the services to the lone frontman. What you do is you have your number 6, in this case the holding midfielder Fabinho, just standing in the passing lanes. Now, how does Brazil deal with playing against a 3-forward line? And that's exactly what these coaches want when they come to events like this, is to play different teams with different styles so that these young kids can start to understand not only different systems and how to defend them, but also how to break them down going forward.
It's the beauty of the friendlies, is just the result itself isn't there, but a lot of times it's just for that confidence, but the different styles and the experience for these young players. Chance now as that one sent onto the near side. Gabriel Silva was the target, but it went well over his head. It'll be a throw in for Portugal deep in their own third.
And this is something you see early in games. Brazilian players have made a lot of really good runs off the ball, and it's just perhaps it's the adrenaline rush or nerves or what have you, but some of the passes have been off. As they find their radar and settle into this game, Brazil's going to become a lot more dangerous, especially if they're finding those spaces in behind the back four of Portugal.
Inside as Diego Rosa turns, he'll pause saying he was fouled, and Charles Murphy agrees.
That's the thing. I would love to see him fight through and not wait for the referee's whistle. What if Charles Murphy had not called for that? Play would have gone. Portugal would have gotten that ball. If he could have fought through, maybe he even has advantage and could go to goal himself. But perhaps they want these set pieces, especially with the likes of Henrique dos Santos getting forward from the back.
Well, Jan Bueno will force this one to swing away from Soares, who's kind of cheating about 5 yards off his line, bouncing, ready to sprawl out. We'll see where this one goes. Generally, it's the spot, and it's just inside. Didn't get past the near post, though. Headed away by Portugal. Fed back up by Talis Costa. It's going to bounce to Jan Bueno. Tomasz will be whistled for a foul. So a free kick for Brazil.
It's been a tough first 9+ minutes for Jan Bueno. A couple of shots to the back already. Doesn't look the worse for wear, though.
Still favoring that back at moment for those getting a chance to see. Usually that, there he is. Lower screen for you. Reminder here in the Nike International Friendlies, these two teams, as well as Turkey and the United States, a little round robin over 5 days. 3 match days, that is, and 3 points for a victory, 1 for a draw. This one for Sousa, who's behind the defense. He'll go into the area looking for help. He's onto the right foot, and he'll drop it. Shot and a goal! Goal scored by Conceição, who is waiting at about 17 yards out. Left foot ripped. It may have deflected, but it goes past the goalkeeper in the net. Portugal takes a 1-0 lead 10 minutes in.
And that's the danger of Sousa. 2 games and 2 assists already, and then that ability to cut back. But so many players would have just sent it across goal blindly. He had the presence of mind to pick his head up in a late breaking run by Conceição, arriving, still had it all to do, and it was a very, very confident finish. Portugal deservedly have the 1-0 lead. They're the side that have been hitting their passes.
That may, and obviously it was deflected off the defender. Just from that last replay, it looked like it may have been curling off as a left foot. Don't know if it was going off target or not. I think it's close enough that we don't have to look at an own goal, but certainly it was directed more towards the net. May have been one of those absolutely perfect top 90 finishes if it doesn't deflect off the midsection of the Brazilian player. But it is 1-0 Portugal, and a game that they must not lose if they want any chance to win the Nike International Friendlies. Sitting at 1 point after 1 match. Brazil sitting at the 3. That ball over the top is going to test in 2, and a good job by the defense heading it back in Henrique dos Santos. And to touch up on that again, the 3 points of the victory, 1 for the draw. The United States and Portugal sitting behind it. Current live standings, and again, we're 11 minutes into match 3. You can't really go off that, but Portugal now the leader at 4 points, with Brazil behind them at 3. The United States to play later. And Turkey sitting at 0. Here's Dos Santos. And really, Mark, I think it's fair to say it's been against the run of play. The possession's gone for Brazil. They really haven't put anything on net yet, but they've really controlled possession. But that's what we saw, that quick counter by Portugal. And now, though, we see a turnover here as Rainier has it. They're going to feed it out wide. Talis Magno back to Rainier. Back Hills, is he onside? He waited just in case, and it will go out for a goal kick. But, I mean, to finish that thought a little bit, we have seen that was Brazil's first real opportunity into the area as we see Rainier with that opportunity.
It was a nice little layoff here, and I think it's just getting too cute right there. And good skill, but perhaps Maybe Talis Magno wants to have the shot. I know it's not the best angle, but you have a step on your defender. Give it a go. And sometimes trying to play those quick little 1-2s in such tight spaces doesn't work out. You're not always going to get that 100% slam dunk. So go ahead and take your chances, especially when you're looking for an instant reply.
Long ball up to Sousa. He'll give chase. Will he keep it in? He'll force Jan Bueno to play it. He and Diego Rosa work on the near sideline. It's Diego Rosa again. 3v2, and Brazil does well to move it out. Pressure from the backside by Conceição forces that errant pass, or at least maybe deflected off it. Portugal trying to take possession, but Brazil has it again. Talis Magno will just reset it with Brazil. Now out to the far side. Talis Magno goes around the defender, goes towards the area. He's got Rainier streaking, but the recovery by Cruz for Portugal, and he'll get the nail poked out to Gonçalo.
It's a great job by Cruz. He had been beaten, but recovering, he knew exactly where the ball was going to go and recovered to that spot in order to cut off the pass, and it leads to this free kick from the foul on Sosa.
Fabinho getting a talking to as well. Well, as we mentioned, Sosa gets the start. Has been the dangerous one with both assists, pretty much from similar areas, running down the left side. He's kept in check for the first 25 minutes, but having those fresh legs against the United States allowed him to have that little extra burst that helped get that equalizing goal on Wednesday night. Here's Fabinho. Diego Rosa looking for Talis Magno. It's going to go into the area, and well, that ball bounced. Took some weird hop of some sort. I don't know if it came off a player or not, and Soares almost overran it of some sort, and could have been disastrous.
He did well to make the adjustment, though, and get back to it. The punt needs to be better there. Oh, it's going to work out for him.
He'd say he put the spin on it on purpose if you... That ball played out wide. Conceição, who scored the goal today, stood up by Eduardo, but he's able to get around him into the area. But the second man he tries to beat, Talis Costa, able to take it away, and Talis Costa is taken down on the far side by Gonçalo. Well, we're just over a quarter hour played. Portugal did what they needed to do, needing a result here. Got the early goal, and they still lead 1-0 against Brazil. I think it's been the only shot on target by either team. It's certainly a lot of action as both teams moving the ball quickly, at least, and the high pressure of Portugal, as Mark, you pointed out, has led to a couple of opportunities. Rainier, and he'll get the free kick.
Let's see, Brazil was able to advance the ball from its defense to its midfield there because Tomas went up to pressure, but nobody else took his cue and pressed up, and so therefore there was space behind Tomas in the next line for Brazil to play through. Now you see as Tomas went, everybody else pushes up.
Toward the corner. Talis Magno will earn the throw as that one's poked away. That one deflected through traffic. It's Tomas. Near side Gonçalo. Back out to Sousa. His flag stays down. Sousa sends it across. Brazil there. Will go out for a corner kick.
Well, that's really a mistake from Enio dos Santos there. Nobody around him. The touch has to be better. He concedes a corner kick when there's no reason to, and Portugal has got a lot of players with very big builds that can get forward on this.
Yeah. Sometimes you wonder, did he not heed the call? Was the call not made running back towards the net? But you're right. He's got to do better than giving up an uncontested corner, or at least an uncontested opportunity to give up a corner. Sent in near post, flipped on, goal! Beautiful play, Tomas able to head it in off the assist on the corner from Gonzalo, and Portugal here, 18 minutes in, lead 2-0.
Oh, you can't draw it up any better. And Tomas, perfect execution on the flick on. And when those near post balls, you have to A, get the flight of the ball perfectly right, because the defender is usually stationed right there as the first line of defense. And B, if you're going to put it on goal from that angle, it has to be perfect. And it was from Tomas. Now has 2 goals in 2 games.
Yeah, and to your point, Mark, it's a corner that probably didn't need to be given up. And Portugal makes them pay. So we'll see the resilience, if it exists here for Brazil. They'll plenty of time. There's still more than 70 minutes remaining here, but momentum certainly on the side of the Iberian Peninsular team.
The other interesting thing, too, is they did get that 1-0 win against Turkey, but before that, they had gone 350 minutes without scoring a goal in their previous 3 games plus before that. So I'll get back to that in a second. Woof.
Well, and Diego Rosa, since a dipping shot that Soares tips over the bar, trying to catch it a little bit, and probably fortunate he's standing on his line. Here's another look at the goal.
Take a look at this goal again. Watch how he just sneaks in front of Thales Magno at the near post, and then that's a world-class header. It doesn't matter how old or what level you're at. That was perfectly placed. Absolutely nothing Christian could do, because he was never going to leave his line.
Gabriel Silva goes to the near post. That's going to go off the foot of the Portuguese defender. That was on the sense, Joe Daniel. Corner not well taken, so Gabriel Silva will have a reprieve, get another chance. Communication from Charles Murphy to Gonzalo. This one up. Soares unchallenged, 6 yards out, catches that one, has no one up top. We'll slow it down just a bit.
And against a keeper as tall and as strong as Suarez, those balls can't be looped and curled in. They have to be driven, so that even if it has a catchable height for him, he's got to stay on his line. But he'll take those all day. Well,
and it's another corner kick, I believe, or was it out for a throw? Looks like it'll be a corner kick. It's that long ball off Soares. Is headed out by Gabriel Jan, again looking for Sousa, who's been dangerous. We've seen that's where both goals have come, although the one was off a corner kick, but it was certainly across from this near side, creating all 3 of Portugal's goals have come that way here in the Nike International Friendlies.
And the reason it's such a good goal is all the Portuguese players are at the top of the box, so everybody's looking at them and kind of forgets about Tomas hanging out just at the corner of the 6.
Conceição. Left foot goes over everyone as Portugal goes the short corner route. That just sent back, and everything will reset here all the way back to Soares. That's not a good ball. Drop down. Fabinho. Flipped over the top, looking for Diego Rosa, and Soares first one there. He's fouled by Diego Rosa, just late on the ball.
No, I was just about to say, before Diego Rosa hit that shot that almost went in, is that Brazil against Turkey had a lot of possession, but didn't create that many gilt-edged chances, and that's something that they've been struggling with 1-0 and 2-0 losses to Argentina before they came to the U.S. for these matches. So it'll be interesting to see how they go about creating chances in a game where now they absolutely have to score.
And to be fair, their goal was an absolute mistake by Turkey, too. Near side, Regu. As they'll continue it on here to Buta. Conceição, far sideline, has the streaking runner. That's inside Felipe Cruz, and Cruz's cross will be sent back where it came from for a throw-in for Portugal.
Beautiful flowing team move. One touch, two touch, passing from side to side. And the Portuguese players have such a good understanding of when they need to get the ball off their feet quickly and when they can look to run with it.
That's a strike, and it's going to go out wide. I think that was Gonzalo, who kind of saw it fall to him and thought he might be able to slide it in, but it went well wide, and it's a goal kick.
Thank you.
Gabriel Noga, back to the goalkeeper, Christian. Looking over the top, the runner's Rainier. The defender is Regu. He'll win it, send it over the line to the Portugal bench. Fabinho, Diego Rosa, Talis Costa now back again. They'll look to play it towards the corner, running to Talis Magno. He'll have the throw for Brazil, or he'll leave it in for Jan Bueno. Congested area here on the near side as Jan Bueno looking for help. High pressure by Portugal forces that one in there. Regu, a couple of nifty over the back headers. Get it out of danger immediately, but the turnover will go to Brazil, looking on the run. It's into the area. It's sent out by Regu. Rainier will commit the foul on the defender as Buta able to get to it first. Another look here at the foul. You can see Buta gets in there, and knowing he just ran 30 yards, wasn't going to get to it, said, I need a break.
One thing when you're coaching youth soccer players that you try and impart on them is change of pace, change of direction. And Buta did that so well there. As soon as he took that touch to get outside of Rainier, he took a 2 to 3 step acceleration, and that's what allowed him to get past him, and Rainier could only foul him.
Sousa may be on the end of this. Jan Bueno brings it down. He'll win the goal kick by playing it off of Sousa. We'll say it never cleared the area before Brazil touched it.
You see Jan Bueno clapping for it at the bottom of your screen.
Such a tough ball for a goalkeeper. I mean, you got to go up and over, and by that time you got so much pressure. I don't like that one, but if you can get it to him, it certainly brings a lot of the players over, and you can counter off it, but it's much more prone to losing it sometime in your own third at that point. Here is Rainier. I think it's fair to say, Mark, that Portugal playing a little more confidently here as we've got the 2-goal lead at this point.
Yeah, they definitely are, and their defense is very good. I've been really impressed with Brazil's ability to hold the ball and be able to play through that pressure, but they're box to box. Once they get to the top of the 18, that's where their possession's breaking down. They need to find those balls through to be able to create chances for themselves, and it's just in that final third where it's lacking. Otherwise, I'm pretty impressed with the way Brazil's played so far. Well, you can see Portugal like you said, very confident, also comfortable when they're not in possession.
That seems to be the way they've settled into it, and it's now they're not afraid to take maybe a chance or two that we didn't see in the first 10 minutes. They maybe sat back a little bit, but knowing that they've been able to go and create that pressure a little more, that when they go into the tackle, they'll go in a little more confidently.
And we also seen that they're able to sit back like that because they know they have the ability to stretch it down the flanks and create that way.
Good movement for Brazil. We'll get it out to Jan Bueno. Jan Bueno and Rainier. Here's that area Mark is talking about, into the 18. Always looking good. Now here's the question mark. What will they do? That ball sent in, and whether the deflection goes back, and it's Soares easily controlling that one. As the cross by Eduardo never cleared the defender.
We saw that one shot that created problems for Soares was that 25-yard effort from Diego Rosa. And Brazil needs more of those, because even though you might not always want to take shots from 25, 30 yards out, the more you do that, it forces that back line to come up and defend those shots, and then that's what opens up that space in behind for you to slip that ball through.
Yeah, as a goalkeeper, if you're giving away too many 25-yard shots that are on target, you'll tell your team they need to step that pressure up. A lot of times you don't mind those 25-yard shots if they sky over or whatever, but that first one that dips under, guys, you can't give them that. That's off of Portugal. Throw in goes Brazil's way.
It was a great shot from Diego Rosa as well, but Soares definitely didn't handle it very well. And if I'm Brazil, I'm thinking, okay, well, let's take a few more of those and see what we can do.
Absolutely. And the dipping ball, I mean, and again, it was position. If he's maybe another yard or two off, and can't say that he shouldn't have been, but it worked out well for him. Here's Brazil as we pass the half-hour mark. Talles Magno dropping back for Talles Costa, and Talles Costa is fouled, but they're going to play quick. Jan Bueno, his cross deflects out. It's going to come back to Jan Bueno. That pass, though, cleared away.
Great idea with the quick free kick, though. Portugal thinking that they're going to set up to send that ball in, and they all drop their heads, and so very smart thinking from Talles Costa. Portugal was able to recover in time, though.
Jan Bueno cannot keep it in.
Boots has been impressive. His real handful, not only with Talles Magno, but with Jan Bueno getting forward to try and create those 2v1s on him, but he stood his ground.
One of the new starters, and again, Portugal coming with 7 new starters tonight, or today. Than what we saw against the United States on Wednesday. Tonight at 6:30, the United States and Turkey. Game 2 on match day 2. Game 4 overall of the Nike International Friendlies 2018. Brazil is your defending 2017 champ, the United States 2016. The interesting thing with all 4 teams in the Nike International Friendlies this year, all have victories, have all been champions of the tournament. And as a matter of fact, there's only been 5 winners, England the other one, so both the United States and Brazil, multiple time winners. Here's a chance now. Talles Magno inside, back out again for Jan Bueno. Looking from Talles Magno, it's going to come out to Fabinho. In for Talles Magno. Driven, just past, and now that shot goes over. Rainier found it at his feet about 14 yards out and skies it.
Oh, that's so much better from Brazil, but it was the dummy by Gabriel Silva that opens that up. He runs over the ball, and it cleared the way for Rainier. And how many times already in just these 2.5 games have we seen players just unable to get over the ball? And that's one of those where he went for power, and only 14 yards out, you can just direct that one toward the corner and try and steer it in.
Something we'll look at here as we played 33 minutes. That Charles Murphy seems to be losing a little patience with Soares on those opportunities for kicks. Said something a little earlier. He made numerous gestures this time to send it on. And obviously still just under an hour to play in this one, but if this 2-0 lead persists, I'm sure it will be nothing but a little bit more. We'll see if that comes into play. Here's an opportunity for Portugal, but they'll play it back and keep possession for now. Rodrigo Regu into the corner with Thiago Ribeiro. And Ribeiro is run off the ball, be a goal kick. Fabinho.
Well, you see Conceição running in like that. That's where another player needs to take that cue and run in and get in front of Fabinho, not to allow that outlet ball. It's just that disconnect between the forward and the midfield lines that are allowing Brazil to get forward at times.
Slotted pass out for Thales Magno. And it will be a corner kick. Tackled away by Batu, but it will go over the line, and running out to take it will be Gabriel Silva. Right foot out swinging corner. You see the positioning inside the area. Pretty spread out. That one driven in. It's off the head of Thales Magno. Or at least it was his head, and then it goes off of Portugal, so it will be another corner kick. A lot of zonal marking we'll see on this short corner. Portugal brings their line out. Back post. Challenge, one down, headed across the middle. That was a great ball back across of Portugal there, but we'll say offside perhaps, or was there a foul involved?
There was a foul. Rodrigo Regu got thrown to the ground as he made that clearance. It's a great job to put that ball into the danger area. Suarez a bit late coming off his line, and you could see Fabinho hitting Rodrigo Regu as he made that clearance, but he's been excellent in the center of defense in this first half, Regu.
Good clearance there, and takes away a corner kick on this free kick for Portugal. There is a slight wind at the back of Portugal here, but nothing like the breeze we had on Wednesday afternoon. And this more of a warm wind for those who are keeping score. That one sent out wide, Conceição. Onto the left foot. That one's shot, and it's right at Christian. But a good opportunity with Cruz, who teed it up from distance. Didn't have to test Christian, but it was a strong shot on there, and that's for the same reason we talked about Brazil. Same thing for Portugal now.
Yeah, it was a good shot because, well, it was on target. It made the keeper work. I mean, he was well positioned to make that save, but like we talked about, it's going to force Brazil to come up a bit, but a great job by Cruz to get into the attack and see that opportunity for himself. If you're invited to shoot, why not have a go?
Yeah.
As long as you get on target, coach is going to be happy with you.
Makes you think about it, because you never know what can happen. I mean, times we've seen soft goals and in even the major levels. I mean, you can go back to the Champions League final, Liverpool.
Curious, yep.
Yeah. All we remember is Christian Bale. Well, most people just see the Christian Bale goal as opposed to the mistake by Karius. It doesn't go down in the book that way. That one sent into the area. Portugal and Felipe Cruz headed out. It's going to fall to Fabinho. They'll try on the far side. This is Eduardo. Eduardo, his crosses have not been very good today, but it will come back to Rainier. Fabinho. Will he shoot it? No. Thales Magno needs help. He'll give it from Jan Bueno. And now that pressure from Portugal will force them to go out. We'll see how Brazil reacts to it. They'll turn it over. But so will Portugal. Dropped in. Rainier tries to go over the head, and good job of defending by both Buta and Rigu as they help Soares come out to corral that.
And Portugal are doing a great job to track those runners from deep and make sure that they don't get in behind them. And I think Portugal's done an excellent job. That was a late challenge.
Let's see. We will get the first card of the game. And it will go to number 8. It's Talis Costa.
Well, one of the things is I think Portugal realizes that getting the ball out wide and crossing for the center forwards is not Brazil's bread and butter. So they're saying, all right, we'll give you those spaces on the flanks because we can deal with your crosses, and now you have to beat us down the middle. And Portugal knows the dangers of that, which is you're going to have those midfield runners making those late-breaking runs and trying to get him behind, but the center backs have tracked him really well, and hope that Conceição's okay because he's been very good in the early going, especially with the goal to his name.
Holding the back of his neck. See if we get another opportunity here as that yellow card was issued to Talis Costa. A little frustration there as we now entering the 40th minute. You have to come off for just a moment, getting this opportunity for a little water. Both teams are as they head over to the bench.
Take a look at the foul here, and yeah, he hits him long after Conceição had played that ball back. The referee had no other choice but to go to the book on that.
Those familiar with wrestling, a little forearm shiver to the back of the neck. I never knew what a shiver was, though, Mark, until, well, we saw it right there. So
I thought a shiver was what I was doing the other night. It was cold. You can see the little sideways look from Conceição at Tejas Costa there. He's not at all happy with it. But, you know, it's been really good sportsmanship between these players. That's about the 4th or 5th time I've seen players shake each other's hands or give them a high five.
That's the thing in this one. No language barrier here. Played back to Soares. Driven up. Will find Gonçalo. Going to try for Tomas. Tomas in. And it'll be a free kick for Portugal. 20 yards out. Yellow card issued. It's Gabriel Noga.
And once again, it's Portugal stretching them out with that long ball over the top, whether it's to Tomas, Conceição, or Sousa. But that's where they've been most dangerous. And there he has a step. And, well, it looked like Noga might have gotten a piece of that ball, but he certainly is coming in from behind, and he gets a lot of Tomas.
So this is dangerous. I was just going to ask you, does Brazil, despite controlling play, really need to try and get that goal before half? But it would be devastating to fall behind 3-0 at this point. At 2-0, you're still looking at, you know, we've controlled play. We don't like being down, but let's get one back. 3-0 would be very difficult against this Portugal team with the pressure they put on.
Absolutely, especially because anything you give up in the last 5 minutes of a half can really have a mental effect on you. And the mentality that you take with you to the locker room at halftime.
Now, Felipe Cruz is the right foot on it. But will it be the left foot of Thiago Ribeiro? It will be into the wall. Comes down to Cruz, back into Ribeiro. Cruz will get it through. It's going to deflect, and Christian will collect it.
Great distribution from the keeper. That's the 3rd time Jan Bueno's been thrown to the turf in this first half.
He'll get it again. Back out to Jan Bueno. Diego Costa tells Magno and back into Fabinho.
You can see right here, just nice little bit of skill, and Tomas coming in too late.
Well, Thiago Ribeiro need to watch this. Talis Costa needs to watch this. He's got a yellow card. And that one, he seemed to go over the top on the defender. Not necessarily with the feet, but certainly with maybe the knee. And he gets a talking to. You can see right there. Yeah, you can see him went in carelessly. I wouldn't necessarily say recklessly. He had turned his head, which maybe took away the intent. If the head was looking, we may have seen a second yellow here.
Because usually the first thing they say to absolve somebody from a challenge like that is he only had eyes for the ball, but you could clearly see there that he didn't.
But 2 fouls within that 2-3 minutes. Dangerous here.
I was going to say, it's a good thing we're getting close to halftime because it is getting a bit chippy.
Yeah, that's for sure. Out wide here now, Talis Magno. Talis Magno run off the ball, able to keep it at his feet, but he's got 3 red jerseys around him and he'll lose it. Sousa. Fabinho is fouled. And Tomas might want to watch it in this case. He's fouled 4 times now. None really of that real physical nature. However, we are seeing the game change. Probably want to be not whistled for anything here in the next 2 minutes. Here is Sousa. Sousa down the middle. He's got Conceição into the area. Conceição shot at Christian. Makes the save. Loose ball. It's Brazil. Now their area. They'll dribble it out.
And the awareness comes as you continue to grow into the game and get older. But Conceição needs to know where the defender is and hit that first time. Took that extra touch and allowed the defender to get into the way and disrupt that shot.
4 minutes of stoppage time. So the ball comes into the stands. Portugal has the throw.
But once again, it's the breaking forward of Sousa that's causing the problems for Brazil.
Back to the goalkeeper, out wide now. To the captain, Dos Santos. Cruz. Pressure is Dos Santos. He'll lose it. But the Brazilian touch by Ribeiro over the line, so it will be a throw for Portugal.
Look at the Brazil forward line was so deep, causing not the best ball out from Soares, but then the midfield was all standing back toward the center circle. Had they come up on these Portuguese players, they might have won that ball there rather than coming in late and conceding that foul.
It's important to go up as a group and back as a group because that does allow you to increase the pressure, as you're pointing out. Otherwise, you're stretching it out and you're making your rest of your team do more running. Conceição as it goes off his heel, and it will be a goal kick for Brazil.
I just love that desire to run at players and that determination and not being worried about it. You see a lot of players, they get 1 or 2 defenders on them and all of a sudden they panic and just try and get it off your foot. You obviously have to know when to hold it and when to get it off your foot, but I just love players with the tenacity to go at players and feel that they're going to work their way out of situations.
Try to play into space and utilizing the speed. Brazil into the area. Soares will collect it after the run by Gabriel Silva. Here is Sousa. Portugal with possession.
It's good no call by the referee. Fabinho got all of that.
Dos Santos out to Cruz, and now possession for Portugal. We'll send it to Tomasz, keeps it in. Final minute of stoppage time. Scheduled for 4. Onto the near side, Talius Magno. Jan Bueno. One last chance for Brazil, perhaps. Fabinho. Send it across to Eduardo. Jan Bueno. And that is the half. 45 minutes are down, and Portugal, knowing that they needed a result, whether it be a draw or a win, in order to stay alive for the Nike International Friendlies, came out on fire, scoring in the 10th minute. They added another one just a few minutes later. That gives them the 2-0 lead through 45. And Mark, certainly we were talking about this before the game, kind of seen Brazil keep the possession as they have, but certainly they haven't been dangerous, not nearly as like Portugal.
No, and give credit to Portugal because they know when to pressure and when to sit back in that low block and let Brazil have the ball and just defend them, and they're letting them have the wings because they know that they're going to win the crosses. At the same time, Portugal has been excellent on the offensive side, knowing when to stretch the field with Sousa and when they need to possess the ball themselves. So it's been a really fun half to watch, especially with just the recognition of these Portugal players of what the situation is and what it calls for.
Knowing the urgency, it should be a fun second 45 minutes. We'll have that coming up. Portugal leads Brazil at the half, 2-0 here in the 2018 Nike International Friendlies. We get set for second half action between Portugal and Brazil in the 2018 Nike International Friendlies. It is all part of U.S. Soccer Winter Showcase Development, or the U.S. Soccer Development Academy's Winter Showcase. We'll take some highlights here of the first half that sees Portugal take a 2-0 lead.
And it was them stretching the field with Sousa, able to get there this time, but the defender well stationed. Well, this corner kick, and just look at this for a flick on. Beautiful goal. And Christian wasn't even expecting his defenders to get beaten there and was frozen to his line.
And that was the corner conceded to get to that, and as we pointed out, that maybe they should have done better with it. There was Brazil's best ball back across the middle, but they committed the foul on the backside.
And then this ball to Conceição, and it was just that little bit of hesitation which allows Gabriel Nelga to get back and disrupt his shot. Otherwise, I think it might have been 3-0. It could have been curtains for Brazil, but they're still in this one as we get ready for the second half.
Lined up, obviously the teams have switched sides, to checking to see if there's any subs. Would have thought that perhaps maybe one for Brazil, whether or not it was Thales Costa. Yeah, he is off. I didn't see. It looks like number 20 on the far side. So that will be Iago. Underway here, Brazil. And it was a couple of subs, as we're informed now. Off also Eduardo. And on, well, we'll see exactly what we have there. It is Fabinho's on. Jan Bueno is here. Well, we'll get it all sorted out for you.
And with Eduardo coming off, Jan Bueno has come over to this near side. So he's switching from right back to left back.
So it's Gustavo who goes to the right back.
Gustavo making his first appearance of this tournament. Be interesting to see what he brings, as he has to deal with Sousa. And for me, Sousa's been Portugal's best player over the first game and a half that they've played. I think Talles Costa came off because of the yellow card he received right at the end of the first half, and then the fact that he had committed 2 or 3 fouls after being shown that yellow.
I would agree with that. It seemed to be just something waiting at that point. Is that ball a little too far? No, Jan Bueno gets to it, and now the high boot into the head will result in the free kick.
You know, I think the reason that Jan Bueno switched over to this side is so that he has the freedom to attack because he doesn't have to worry about Sousa. And already they were starting to see some fruits of their decision right there.
So Brazil seeing the urgency, being down 2, wanting to try it. And they had an opportunity early on as this ball poked out. And it will be Talles Magno inside with Gabriel Silva. Defender on him. He'll maintain possession as Conceição comes in, and now he goes around the defender into the area. Good work, and Talles Magno's shot goes right at Soares, but already Brazil here in the first 2 minutes, some of the more dangerous action they've had all game.
That's because instead of trying to pass around him, Gabriel Silva is now running at them. They're trying to take players on 1v1, and I know it sounds like I'm harping on that, and of course you don't want to do that every single time, but you have to mix it up a bit, especially if you have the ability to beat players in that kind of situation.
That shot teed up, and it will go off the goalkeeper Soares. It'll be a corner kick. Looked like he wanted to make sure he had the post covered, and instead he touched it maybe just a little wide, but a shot from distance in that situation by Gabriel Silva from about 30 gives them a corner kick.
As Soares, frustrated with himself, had to make sure that it wasn't going to beat him at that post, but wasn't able to pull back in time. Still think he did the right thing. Better safe than sorry.
Yeah, the last thing you want to see is move out and it goes there. Now the near poster goes past you in the net. That ball headed back in. Sun should be a little bit of an issue, perhaps. This one coming in. Now it's free. Off to it. Talles Magno's shot is blocked. It's deflected. And Soares will keep that one in. Appeals for a handball by Brazil go unheard. As Charles Murphy points to his midsection, that's where it went off. Here's Brazil again. And here to Talles Magno. Rainier. Sousa for Portugal. And he is fouled as Rainier kind of falls on him and stays on him. And Rainier getting a discussion from Charles Murphy.
Brazil coming out, though, with a lot more intent, especially on the attacking end in the second half. And really, they don't have a choice, but it's been refreshing to see.
Brazil with a victory against Turkey in the first match would not find a loss critically devastating unless, of course, Portugal were to defeat Turkey on the last day. Of course, all teams still control their destiny at this point. That may not be the case after this match.
Brazil head coach Guilherme de Dia happy with his team's pressure, but he's out there yelling "Sim foul, no foul, without a foul." Well, they didn't listen on that far side. Well, it's going to go the way of Brazil there.
Sousa kind of, or not Sousa, but certainly the left back in that case, Buta, took a dive according to the referee. Here's Rainier.
Costa's open if he can find him.
And so is Talles Magno. He's got him here. He'll cut inside, tackled by Cruz. He'll bring it towards the sideline, send it up the field.
Well, that's what Tomas brings. He didn't get the ball in that time, but not only has he scored 2 goals in this tournament already, but the work he puts in on the defensive end, here he is chasing once again, just to put them under a little bit of pressure, has been really impressive to watch.
It's about time to start looking for the golden boot as well, and Tomas leads obviously with 2. Conceição and Griffin Yao and Rainier, all with 1 here in the Nike International Friendlies. Griffin Yao for the United States, Conceição for Portugal, and Rainier the lone spot for Brazil. Here's a numbers 4v3. If they go at him, he's got help to his left, he's got help to his right. I'll give it to Conceição, who's got further help. He'll give it to him now, but there is recovery by Brazil, so numbers are back. Conceição, though, now into the area. He's dispossessed by Diego Rosa, who had chased back.
Diego Rosa's been impressive in the midfield. Finds the ball, usually switches the point of attack, and then goes and looks for it again.
Near side here, Jan Bueno. Talis Magno now into Gabriel Silva. Talis Magno again. He'll get it. He'll try and slot it through. Have an injury on top of the area, but I think that's Rainier that's down. No whistle. No, it's not Rainier. Excuse me. That would be Iago. Going to be a throw in for Portugal. Another look at it as he gets in, I guess. Ball stepped in, looking for the foul. Kind of mentioned the sun could be an issue through the rest of the half. It's setting low. We'll see as it's coming from the press box area, but as Portugal set to make their substitution. Coming off will be Tomas, and on for Tomas will be Tavares.
Tavares was really a nuisance against the U.S. Very quick in his speed of thought, has quick feet as well. It's a really exciting player to watch, and it was fun to watch him and Tomas combine together in that first game. Happy Tavares is on, but kind of sad to see Tomas go. And what's interesting here is with Tavares coming in, Sousa has now gone into the center, and whether it's just for that player, that's the way it's going to be. It'd be really interesting to watch Sousa operate down the center because we've seen what a danger he is on the flanks. Well, what can he do now in a place where he has to be a bit more creative because he's run into those 2 center backs rather than just dealing with a wing?
Certainly has shown his speed and his ability to run with the ball as critical components. Here is Brazil now as they still trail 2-0. We're into the 10th minute of the second half, 55th minute of the match. Down the far side, driven in, off to the left foot, and shot is blocked. Rebound out. Diego Rosa with a toe poke, and it's going to go wide, and it will be a corner kick. Deflected off the toe.
Much better from Brazil, starting to create opportunities and realize that if they do have that chance at the top of the box, that they're going to take it rather than try and pass through such a crowded box, and it's going to open things up even more as this game goes on.
Gabriel Silva. Soares challenge. He'll bobble it, but he'll collect it. Regu and Buta on the far side. There's Regu or Buta.
Well, it's so fun to watch kids at this age play the ball out of traffic and high pressure with the maturity that they are.
Buta on the left foot. It's going to go through. And Salo turned his head thinking maybe it wouldn't get there, and instead it may have fallen to his feet. Here's a chance now as Cruz plays it into the area. Sousa, strong off his line, is Christian to get to it before Sousa. Near side, Jan Bueno. Great ball sent over to Talis Magno. Tackled in. Mark, we can see really Portugal dropping 10 guys into their defensive third.
Well, it's also because Brazil's doing a great job of bringing more players forward, and we saw there Rainier Carvalho doing a great job of taking those first two players on the dribble, but it's not only about knowing when to dribble, but it's also knowing when to get it off your feet, and Rainier did a great job beating the first two, but then he has to get it off his foot before that third challenge comes in.
It's Gustavo on the far side. He'll play it back into Dos Santos, into the area. Off the chest, it's free, and there again is Regu clearing it out. Over the line, this time it'll be a corner kick.
And I think if it weren't for the number 13 for Portugal, this game could very well be 2-2. He has made some very, very important last-ditch tackles.
Getting there just before Iago. It's Gabriel Silva again. Outswinger this time. Near post, Regu goes up over the defender, and as it falls, Soares will collect it. He'll pick that one up. Now he's going to throw it out. Good distribution here. Lots of space for Tavares. Tavares with a couple on him, but he's going to run towards the corner. Able to slow it down and get a little help. This in the form of Gonzalo. Gonzalo. Back out to Tavares. Gonzalo. Those two working really well together, but that pass just a little too far. It will be a goal kick.
We talked about Portugal having all 10 men back in their own half behind the ball, but they're able to do that because look at how quickly they get everyone forward.
Little support, a great run, a great ball by Soares out of here the back as well. Allowed that. Still holding a little bit of a high line is Portugal. Brazil looking to maybe penetrate that over the top. They're making the runs. Can they stay on side? Here's Dos Santos. Good work by Sousa up top to force him back. Knuckling over towards Gustavo. He'll bring it down into Rainier. Rainier will drop it. Diego Rosa is going to go to the foot of Talis Magno. He'll drop it in. Rainier. Rainier into Iago. Iago challenged, and Tavares throws a shoulder and will get called. That was a little obvious, and good positioning for Charles Murphy.
Much better, though, from Brazil. Just those quick little passes to the top of the box, but Portugal doing such a good job to stay compact and not give up that half yard of space that's needed for the shot. However, Brazil has been working much deeper into that box in this half than they were in the first 45.
Spray can out.
He almost stepped over it. He just wiped off the spray can. Put it back on. Still playing by the rules, though. That ball is behind where the spray was.
So it'll be a taken. Gustavo.
You wonder with Portugal's area ability, will they drive it low? And that's exactly what they do. Now they need that runner in.
Jan Bueno's shot is blocked. Diego Rosa's shot is wide right on any upright.
And what you want to see there is with everybody coming out, instead of Rosa trying to hit that ball, which is a really tough technique to do, just pop it over. Everybody's coming out. There's going to be another Brazilian player making that run in. Get out with the offsides trap that way.
Past the hour mark, half hour to go. Portugal. A little too aggressive is Dos Santos. Free kick will go for Brazil as he goes over Sousa. Second ball falls to Portugal. Play towards the corner. Cruz off a tackle will be Portugal ball.
That's a good challenge there, but just that speed of thought from Tavares, knew that he had a player coming on him and had the presence of mind, or was thinking one or two passes ahead, because as soon as it came to him, just that little flick into space for the runner, a lot of players would have either not have seen that or would have thought about it too late.
Gonzalo with a fantastic turn and split defenders, and his ball goes just beyond the far post. It'll be a goal kick. Good individual work there by Gonzalo. Another look.
Just great job to keep that at the end line and the turn, and then pokes it right through Diego Rosa, and all it needed was a touch at the back post, but I don't think Conceição was even expecting him to get out of that space in order to make the cross.
Maybe even another yard longer. May have been a fantastic far post goal.
And one thing you try and teach forwards is always assume that a player's going to miss the ball and that it's going to come to you.
Sousa with an opportunity. He's got help left. He's going to go at the defender. He'll go around the defender. He's on the left foot. He's going to score! Sousa with a fantastic goal at the middle has given Portugal a 3-0 lead.
Well, I think it's safe to say he's just as good playing up the middle as he is on the wing. Tremendous skill.
I think he
Sousa.
heard you, and he said, I'll show him. He had Conceição, but a couple of great moves and goes around three defenders. And Portugal line themselves up here for a good result in the third match of the Nike International Friendlies. And that will trigger a couple of more Brazil subs.
You know what this does too is it puts pressure on both the U.S. and Turkey, because they need to get all 3 points. Otherwise, they're going to have to depend on Portugal losing on the final match day, and just based on the run of play, I don't really see that happening.
Well, Turkey can still control their destiny because they get to face Portugal. But you're right, the United States, who has already faced them, now will have to be looking at goal differential themselves. So off for Brazil, Diego Rosa and Gabriel Noga. On for Brazil will be Renan da Silva. As Turkey with possession. Now inside for Sousa again. Sousa will slot it for Cruz from his back position, and Christian will collect it.
Good shielding off the ball, and almost wants Sousa to be a bit more selfish there and take it himself again. I think if he had gone and pulled the defender toward him, then it would have opened up the space for that pass in for Cruz.
Slotted for Gabriel Silva. Looking to get one back if he can. Now it's into the area, and it's the sub, and it's a great save by Soares. What an opportunity for Antonio, for Neto.
You know, it's one thing to have a big frame. It's another thing to know how to use it. Well, first of all, this is a great ball right here to get that through, and then look at how he doesn't go down too soon. He waits till the last moment and then stretches himself out and makes himself as big as possible to make the save. Soares has been very impressive in these 2 games here at the Nike International Friendlies.
Almost Neto's first touch, and you wonder if he had another touch or two, whether he may have done a little bit more, but you're right. What a great job by Soares of just making himself big.
He perfectly timed his run there, Antonio Neto.
Well, he'll get another touch now. He'll take the free kick here. It's about 40 out, but so he's marking it off like he's ready to rip something, but I imagine we'd see this one sent in. Well, actually, it's going to be really short. Now it'll be played in towards Iago, or make that Rainier. Rainier chips it into the area, and Soares by himself.
Well, that's catching practice for him.
Jan Bueno will use the goalkeeper, Christian. And that's a bad ball out. Tavares.
Hint of a handball there, but the referee letting it go.
Arena. Talis Magno. Neto. All the way across. It gets to Iago. He'll tee it up with his left foot. His shot is blocked. That cross-field pass taken away. Sousa in a race. Sousa gets behind the defender. Sousa cuts back in, but Reynaud does a good job and is able to find Jan Bueno.
What a great first touch, though, to cut that behind the defender that he knew was going to run past him. That was tremendous skill from Sousa.
There's a chance. Here's teed up wide by Fabinho. Fabinho, not real patient, but from 35, thought he'd go, and again, not on target.
And Suarez won't mind those. Watch him all day. And there's chances at the top of the box like that, the back pass, but I feel like when Silva has that ball and he's in the box just a little bit, Rainier is getting too close to him for that back pass, and it's easier for Portugal to step. If he steps back 1 or 2 yards, he'll have a bit more space to make a decision as to whether he wants to hit it or try and find another Brazilian jersey.
Substitutions, a couple for Portugal, 1 for. Actually, the Portugal make a couple.
Well, Conceição is coming off, and he's been excellent, as is Sousa. So you've just replaced all the goal scorers that were left on the field.
And it'll be Enrique Pereira in for Conceição. And Sousa, as you mentioned, off. For Sousa will be Bernardo.
Thought Conceição not only did well to take his goal, but his movement off the ball was exquisite, really opening the Brazilian back line.
$3-0 lead allows Portuguese bench to maybe take a little more liberties here as we've got 20 minutes remaining. That one over the top. Christian outside his area has to get to it.
Great job by Christian to come off his line there and play as the sweeper keeper. If you have a keeper that has that recognition and the ability to come out and take care of those balls, that will allow your center backs to press higher.
Driven out wide, Gustavo waiting on it. It'll be Gustavo on the overlapping run. He'll take it on the near post, and that's cleared away off the line, or not off the line, but by Araujo before it can be reached by Gabriel Silva.
Well, Gabriel Silva made a great diagonal run to the near post, exactly as how you're supposed to make it. And is just looking for that little flick on with Talis Magno on the prowl and behind, but Portugal, as they've done in the box all day long, reacted quickest.
This corner taken by Neto.
Oh,
Whipped in
header.
and off the header Bent down was Reyna, but 7 yards out, a free header. Got to put that on target.
Well, that's one he'll want back, but the Portuguese marking was really lax there. They switched off for a bit. Very lucky that they weren't punished.
The scoring struggles for Brazil continue.
And you could see just the Portuguese players were watching the ball and not the runners coming in, and have to be really careful there. Obviously, the flow of the game changes with all the substitutions, but those were some players who had just come on who let that run be made, and you have to be plugged in, especially when you come off the bench, let alone for the full 90 minutes at this level.
Talis Magno and Duranier. Dropped in short.
Well, that counterattack needs to be quicker.
Regu plays it towards the corner to be run down by well, I think we got a little controversy here. They're saying this is a goal kick, and it will be a corner kick. I think maybe the linesman lost track of who that came off. That was off of Regu, and as Gabriel Silva was shielding the ball, the linesman may have lost track of who that came off of, and the referee has overturned that, so it will be a corner kick. Neto will take it. This one, last one, dangerous. This one, Soares comes off his line, and not only does he get it, he gets the whistle as well.
Soares has been very assertive in his box. It's been impressive to watch.
Kind of alluded to it the last game against the United States. He is a big young man for 16 years old. Really does have that commanding presence, particularly when it's not just the tallest. A lot of times you'll see the goalkeeper be the tallest, but he's broad-shouldered as well.
And the thing is, how many players do you see who are like that at this age that don't have the understanding and their control of their body as well as the skill? And Soares has all of those.
Here's Portugal with a 3-0 advantage as we conclude the 5th of 6th quarter hours. That one will stay in for now, and it is run down. It is in the corner. Bernardo has it, and Portugal will keep it. Gonzalo trying to slot it through.
Was looking for the deception, but the Brazilian back line was wise to it on that one. Wasn't a bad idea, though. Turn the other way, you think he's going to play it out wide, and then the quick little turn and ball inside. It was good defending from Brazil.
Played down the line. Throw will go Portugal's way as Brazil will make their next sub. Coming on will be Ivonier. Am I correct in that?
Yeah, Ivonier Jr.
Ivonier. He's on for Gabriel Silva. Fabinho. Back in now, out wide. Chipped into the area. There's the header, and it's on target by Reynier, but it's right at Susha. A head collision.
And a good job by the referee to stop play right away. as you are obligated to whenever there's a chance of a head injury. But a good job by Cruz just to put Rainier off. Because otherwise it would have been another free header. And I think he did enough to keep Rainier from directing it toward the corner.
Is Cruz, I think maybe the arm had gone up, but Cruz did come under it, so it was no swinging of the arm, but it is enough to keep Felipe Cruz on the ground right now just to get a little attention. Well, I guess when we look at it, 77 minutes, we kind of talked about what we expected from this, and obviously Brazil with the win in game one, Portugal and the United States to the draw, what we kind of thought it would be even. Really, we've seen possession dominated by Brazil, but it's been Portugal that's been by far the more dangerous of the two teams.
Absolutely, and I think Brazil's had a missed opportunity here because Portugal was giving them the wings. And the fact of the matter is, once they realized the crosses wasn't working, okay, how can we utilize the wings to build our attack down there, but then open up enough space in the middle and play the ball on the ground back into the middle? And I think that's where Brazil could have had an opportunity to perhaps create more going forward on the offensive end. And Portugal have had their stretches of possession, and they've certainly been the most dangerous with it, but just their comfort level in defending and being behind the ball made it seem like even those stretches where Brazil really controlled it, they never were really on the back foot.
And in a 3-goal deficit right now, they'll need to do something. We have seen a couple more opportunities second half, but all we've seen is an extension. Here is a chance in the chip over the bar, as behind the defense on that opportunity was Neto, and they're going to call him offside anyway. So no opportunity on net as Neto is there. Brazil set to make yet another sub. Jan Bueno will come off this time. On for him will be Riquelme.
I think Jan Bueno has been one of Brazil's most dangerous attacking players from his outside back position, and especially in the second half once he switched sides and no longer had to deal with Sousa.
Riquelme with his first touch. He'll drive towards the middle of the field, get it into Thales Magno. Neto out wide, taking in a cross, and it's going to be Suarez who bobbles it. But as he bobbled it, running in beyond the ball was Iago.
But that's much better than from Brazil. You see they got the ball in the wing, but instead of pumping it into the box, played a little diagonal ball into that pocket of space on the side of the box, and I think that's where Brazil had lost some opportunities to build from.
Christian under pressure is to play it towards the corner. His teammate Reynal will run it down. Chipped up and over. On to the right foot. Now cutting it back. Cruz will play it over beyond everyone on the far side.
Cruz had the right idea there to clip it to the back post and just overhit it.
Fabinho all the way across to the near side. There's Rainier camped out on the sideline. He'll cut inside. Watching the run. That one's going to bend to the line. It will be Iago running it down. And it will be a goal kick. And in doing so, it'll be a Portugal. We'll make a couple of subs. So Gonzalo will come off, and on for Gonzalo will be Daniel Rodriguez. And also off will be Thiago Ribeiro. And on for him will be Pedro Silva.
And now with all the changes, you almost have the starting lineup that played against the U.S.
They have made 6 subs now. Make that 5 subs. Brazil, on the other hand, has made 6. Played into space. No one there except for blue shirts. Eight minutes and stoppage time remaining in this one. Played down, a good run, but it's Regu who wins that header. Ivone. Looking for Henrik Pereira. So we go Brazil's way. And thankfully, too, we saw the chippiness that was kind of taking over at the end of the first half. It really didn't carry over at all into the second.
Oh, I think in the second half, Brazil were a lot more worried about trying to get that goal back and build themselves into this game. I see the frustration setting in here, especially because Regu has not allowed anything to the center forwards today.
Yet another header won by Regu. Onto the back post, going to be too strong.
He reminds me a lot of Adam Armour for the U.S., who's outside back, but still, both of them play the game in a way that they see it 1 to 2 plays ahead, and a lot of times they're already standing in the position to intercept the ball before it's played.
So Arish. Aggressive play by Brazil, not whistled. Instead, it's down to the corner here, and that's Tavares. Tavares across with the left foot shot. What a goal! Tavares curls it in, and Portugal leads 4-0.
Well, if ever you wanted to close a match in style, it's just a brilliant individual effort. Looks up, sees the half-yard of space, knows what he wants to do with it, but having the technique and the ability to execute it is something else.
Absolutely sensational finish. And Tavares on the cutback. Curled it from outside the post, tucking inside. And with an exclamation point.
That is inch perfect.
Yeah, they will move into first here in the Nike International Friendlies. What that difference is, we still have 5 minutes and stoppage time remaining here. But already, and there's a chance here Brazil can cut into that deficit or not, because again, another offside on this call. But a +4 goal differential through 2 games, at least right now for Portugal. We'll see how that holds up in just a few minutes. But the United States against a Turkey team that very competitive against Brazil. You wonder here at this point, do they start looking at results? You don't know. At this age, you're just going out and playing the best game you can, but knowing that there is some work in front of you.
Yeah, but it gives us something to talk about, and I'm going to talk about it. The fact of the matter is now the U.S. not only needs to win to keep pace with Portugal, but they need to score goals against a very tight Turkish defense. That really doesn't give up much, especially if they're going to sit back and defend in the low block that they did against Brazil. I think the U.S. is more dangerous than Brazil going forward, but still, something that is going to be really intriguing to watch is, are they going to come out and try and attack the U.S., or are they going to sit back and bait the U.S. to try and come in and break them down?
Well, right now, the only thing we know is Brazil will need help to win the 2018 version of the Nike International Friendlies, while Portugal, the United States, and Turkey all control their destiny. Turkey sitting at 0, but 2 wins against the United States and Portugal would give them the title. United States, obviously, with a couple of wins, but would need to control with goal differential. Portugal looking good in the catbird seat right now, but all that could change after tonight's match, which we'll have beginning at 6:30 between the United States and Turkey. Right now it's 4-0. Soon to be the 88th minute. It is now the 88th minute here in Lakewood Ranch at the Premier Sports Campus between Brazil and Portugal.
23 FIFA regulation fields here at the Premier Sports Campus, and every single one of them has been used today with the Development Academy Winter Showcase going on, and I really hope that all those players come out and pack the stands for tonight's match and cheer on the U.S.
I had a chance yesterday when I was doing a game between Richmond and Sacramento to talk to a couple of parents who said, oh, this is what a perfect event. We can watch our son play and then come over and watch some international soccer.
And I think for those players, too, who are on the cusp of the U17 national team trying to break their way into the pool, they can come and watch these games and see what is it that I need to do, how can I tweak my game and take it up that extra notch in order to break into Sean Takaris' U17 pool.
Here's Tavares with that brilliant left-footed finish just a moment ago as we have a Brazil player down.
It looks like he overextended. Well, that's really painful. Could see his foot slipping away and almost did the splits, and you hope.
And is Yvonne?
Yeah, Yvonne is okay. You could see him pointing right there to his groin. You just see right here, loses his footing, and there goes that foot overextending.
A little slip on the field, but he is up. That's good news. Brazil does not have a sub. He was a sub himself. Mark, you're on the call a little bit later between U.S. and Turkey, and I was actually kind of proud of myself. I only made one Turkey sub joke when they made subs, despite the multiple opportunities. So you have that challenge.
Yeah, I'm going to be biting my tongue tonight, but it's a really fun Turkey team to watch. They've got some players that are very impressive, and also a couple players that play abroad, as well as some of these U.S. players, and 2 players that play their club ball in Germany and 1 in Holland. And it's interesting to see that the different dynamic players who are based domestically versus players who based abroad bring to a national team squad.
Absolutely, and another opportunity for us to see this United States team as well. It's been odd years, but 2 years ago at the champions. Here's a chance for Portugal to add on to their lead. And a shot, and that's going to go maybe off the outside of the post on an opportunity from distance from Batu, I believe, or Buda.
And Buta deserves that because he stayed at home most of the time to deal with the Brazilian attacks. And so for him to take his opportunity to get forward, and it was a lovely shot, very well disguised, just missing at the far post.
3 stoppage minutes. Aaron, the only thing in doubt is what will the final score be. We know that Portugal will be the winner of match 3, leading 4-0 against Brazil. Brazil has had a couple of chances. Soares has been very good. One fantastic save with his foot on a kick save. Now you have to wonder, obviously it was 3-0 at the time, Mark, but with 20 minutes, does that kind of bring a little momentum into it? Maybe to add another one, and how does that change? But a fantastic save in that case, and Soares has been very good throughout. And really, the only goal given up wasn't his fault. It was a bad back pass to him, and Griffin Yao capitalized on it. He's been very good in this tournament. Not asked to do anything on that shot over the bar.
Yeah, especially if Brazil had pulled one back within 20 minutes, the confidence grows. You say, okay, we got one, we can get one more, you get one more, and all of a sudden you're right back in it, and it's a nervy finale. And so finding that 4th goal to really kill all hopes, especially in the fashion it did, where no matter how well you defend, that goal is going in, is absolutely devastating from a Brazilian perspective.
And even so into a 3-0, and the save in itself is demoralizing for Brazil. Not that they were being stymied throughout. They didn't do a lot to test the goalkeeper. But when you do have that breakaway and from basically 12 yards out one-on-one and you're stopped, now all of a sudden everything that you've done, it just kind of just sucks the air out of you as well.
And we also talk about the fact that at U17, maybe you're not worried about the score or the standings. You just go out and play. I think this is the age where you have to start understanding situational soccer.
We might see a card here for Rigu. Obviously, there was a breakaway, and I think obviously in a 4-0 score far enough away, you don't like to see the last man because we know what the rules could be, and it will be Rigu, who's been very good in this game, to get a card here at this moment.
Getting back to it, I think it's situational soccer. It's not about how I'm going to play my best. It's understanding the situation. Right. It's understanding the standings, and it's understanding what's at stake, because that's what's going to be required when it comes to the CONCACAF championships. And I think that's something that Sean Securis and his staff are looking for in his players as they move toward picking that final roster.
I think you're absolutely right. And standing over the ball and maybe giving Brazil one last chance to get on the board to be Neto. The line comes 2 yards inside the box. We'll say is 26 yards out. It is not a straight on opportunity. It will be a 3-man wall, it appears right now, for Portugal. And Neto will strike this one up and down, and Soares onto the near post and just catches that one. He read it and knew where he was going, but he handled that one perfectly cleanly, and that is the final whistle. So at the whistle, it is a save by Soares, fittingly, and a 4-0 victory for Portugal. They've really put themselves in good position here going into last match day.
Dominant, absolutely dominant, and a wonderful combination of team play and individual effort. And 4 goals to the good against the Brazil side that I think actually did a better job of creating than they did against Turkey. But it's all about taking your chances, and Portugal certainly did that.